Hello, my friends. My name is Marie. I'm a physicist, chemist, professor, world traveler, and a two-time Nobel Prize winner. My work in science and physics helped to develop the X-ray machines used in hospitals today. I'd love to tell you a bit more about my life. Would you like to hear my story? I was born on the 7th of November 1867 in Warsaw, Poland. My name, before I married my husband, was Maria Slodowska. I was the youngest of 5 children. I had 3 older sisters and 1 brother. My parents were both teachers, and they felt it was important for their daughters to go to school just like their son. Even as a child, I loved learning about maths and science. When I was 15 years old, I finished secondary school and I hoped to study at university. Unfortunately, some universities didn't allow women to attend, and university classes also cost a lot of money. My sister Bronia wanted to study too, so I worked as a governess, a woman who takes care of and teaches other people's children, while she was at school. Eventually, I had saved up enough money and I was able to go to the Sorbonne, a famous university in Paris, France. When I signed up for classes, I decided to sign my name as Marie to sound more French. I worked very hard in school and earned a scholarship. This means I was given money for studying so hard. The money from this award helped me to stay in school and earn my degrees in physics and mathematical sciences. In 1894, I met Marie Curie, a fellow scientist and a professor at the Sorbonne. A professor is a university teacher. We worked well together and became very good friends. Soon, in 1895, we married and my name became Marie Curie. During our marriage, we were lucky enough to have 2 clever daughters, Irene and Eve. I was always interested in the latest scientific discoveries and was especially eager to learn more about Henri Becquerel's discovery of uranium rays in different soils and rocks. In 1898, Pierre and I explored the rays further, and eventually I named them as a form of radioactivity. This means they gave off a type of energy we hadn't seen before. Even more interesting was that when we separated the uranium from the soils and rocks, the rays were still there. After many experiments, we were finally able to find out why. It turns out that during the process, we had discovered 2 new radioactive elements, polonium and radium. Elements are the building blocks for everything on Earth. The air we breathe and the water we drink are made up of elements. The new elements I discovered were important. Even today, radium is still used to help people who are ill, and polonium can be used to power up satellites sent into space. over the next few years, I continued to work with the radioactive rocks and soils, finally figuring out how to pull out pure radium and keep it on its own. I examined the element and tried to use it in many different ways, hoping it would be useful to doctors and scientists. In 1903, I was the first woman to earn a doctorate degree at the Sorbonne, and I also became the first woman ever to receive a Nobel Prize for physics. I shared it with my husband and Henri Becquerel for the discovery of radioactivity. After that, Pierre and I continued to work together and experiment with our new elements. In 1906, I became the first female professor, taking over Pierre's position as Professor of Physics at the Sorbonne. I continued to work with elements and radioactivity, and in 1911 I was given another Nobel Prize for the 2 new elements I had found. This was amazing because no one had ever been awarded 2 Nobel Prizes before. During the First World War, my daughter Irene and I drove X-ray trucks we had created all over the battlefields. We helped soldiers who were too far away from hospitals to get the care they needed. In 1920, the radium I had so carefully separated from the rocks and soils in 1898 had run out. I'd used everything I had in many different experiments over the years. Fortunately, a large group of women in America heard about my problem and decided to raise money so they could buy me a new source of radium for my experiments. In 1921, I travelled with my daughters to America and received this gift from President Harding. After that, I travelled all over Europe and talked to other scientists and doctors about my discoveries. I was able to help set up the Curie Foundation to help fight certain illnesses, and the Radium Institute, both of which still help many people around the world. Over the years, I've inspired many people to become interested in science and maths. Hopefully, I will inspire you too.